Welcome to In Between Two Chromes. I have a special guest here. Her name is
Monica Denise Willis.
Oh, she threw a middle name in there.
Fancy.
All right, so I'm gonna be honest. This is kind of funny and uncomfortable at the same time. So this is our first time doing this. So Monica's part of our first blog here between the two chromes. So Monica, you have been on a coaching cycle with me for what was it, cycle 2 or 1 and 2 and 4?
Yes.
Looking back, what do you believe was successful in your classroom?
HyperDocs saved me, and being able to create those. It's been phenomenal in the classroom. So I have not used Schoology now in months. I haven't been back to Schoology.
She's been converted.
I've been converted. I've been saved. But yeah, so now I'm on Google Classroom, thanks to the Google Docs, and having all those resources in one place has been phenomenal for the students as well. Just having to go to one thing, not having to open a folder and then open so many files. Everything is on the doc. And when I change it in Google Drive, it changes it automatically on the docs. It is so much easier to work like that instead of updating and then re-uploading a PDF. Like the workload is lighter.
Yeah, very good. All right, so looking back at cycle 4, what was your focus challenge that you wanted to focus on?
I had been leveling my students according to their skill set, trying to differentiate, and I realized that the grading wasn't representing exactly what they knew and what they were doing, since they were doing different assignments. So my group who was doing more challenging work, they weren't getting 100s. They were doing well, but not getting 100s. And then the group who were at a lower level and they were finally able to hit the mark, they were getting 100s. And it just weighed different. Like it didn't match up. So that was my struggle for cycle 4.
All right. On everything that we've done with coaching, have you felt like what was successful with that challenge? Yeah.
Coming up with a rubric and saying that instead of having like group 1, group 2, group 3, but having an end goal of where group 3 is, and each kid is on the path to working up to that, made the grade more reflective of where the kids were or are.
Okay. Any kind of strategies or anything that you've used that really sticks out in your mind as being something you plan to use or would like to share with others that might be wanting to try the same kind of thing?
Strategies. I know I started with a tic-tac board-ish type of document, which was a great jumping off place. Like it was a great springboard, and then building from there because I needed somewhere to start. So even though my original idea didn't pan out like I thought it would, it was a great starting point. So starting with that tic-tac-toe board and then creating the rubric from that, that helped me. Yeah, and then just keeping in mind that where the kids are will continuously change depending on the content that we're learning.
Anything unsuccessful with it?
I don't know if my system is perfect quite yet, and I think it'll take me using it more with different groups of kids, and then of course I'll tweak it as I go.
Very good. All right. So how do you feel, how effective do you feel coaching was to your focus challenge? And not only for cycle 4, but also looking back at your previous one.
Do I have levels? Is there levels to this?
Yeah.
Like if we did 1 to 10, I would say a very strong 10. It was very effective. I couldn't solve my own problem, and I'm real big on problem solving and trying to get the kids to think critically so they can solve their own problems. But this was one I couldn't figure out because I didn't have the skill set. So I needed the coaching cycle to get me to the solution to my problem. So I had to have it, or I just would have been stuck.
Oh, very good. What made you want to try coaching this year versus like previous years? Because I haven't really worked with you before. Like we've done other things in the last couple of years, but we've never really worked this intensely together.
Right.
So what really made you want to jump on board and try the dynamic learning project style of coaching?
Well, just desiring change, period. Being in the classroom teaching English for the 11th year, I needed something to shake up my norm, and so glad I did because it shook it up. It shook it up a lot in such a good way. It made for a good experience this year.
Well, what got shooken up? What really changed?
What really changed? The way I use technology changed a lot. I hate to say that I was one of the teachers who were like, yeah, I use technology, but it was like a PDF version of a worksheet, or getting stuck into, we're going to do a pic collage, or we're going to do a Google slide presentation, but it was the same old. There was no interweaving with the different products in the G Suite. The collaboration piece wasn't there as strongly. We weren't sharing outside of ourselves. Like it wasn't there. And I don't think I realized how ineffective I was at using technology. I thought I was great. But I think after seeing all the other things that I could be doing, all the other platforms I could be using and how I could be using them together, I realized like I could be pushing the kids so much further. So we've done some cool things this year that I'm proud of. I'm really proud of.
I know one of the cool things that we tried that you wouldn't think an ELA teacher would do is that Google's Applied Digital Skills curriculum. Yes. You know, it was sent to me. It looked cool. I immediately thought of you, like, ooh, if-then stories. This could go decently in ELA.
Yeah.
Describe how that really, because that kind of helped build up, not only your skills, but the kids' skills.
Amazing.
You've gotten some recognition because of it, because you really have just taken off with it, and it's been fantastic.
Yeah. When I first looked at the curriculum, I was like, what is this? But the if-then unit tied in perfectly to our narrative unit. And then the research and develop a topic, of course, went into research and argumentative writing. And the kids, the skills that they were able to get, like with the HTML coding, that was phenomenal. Learning how to do hyperlinks was phenomenal. They're collaborating and working with each other, and they realize I don't have to be right beside you. I can be across the room, and we're still getting things done, and we're collaborating. It enhanced what we were already doing. And research and develop a topic. I love that one. The kids' favorite is if-then. My favorite is research and develop a topic because they got to create a fake news article, and it just makes them more aware of what to look for when they're reading the news for themselves. I don't even think that they picked that up, but then they had to share with someone else or another group, and so they're spotting all these things like it's fake because of this, it's fake because of this, it's fake because of this, which is so relevant here in 2018. So I love how relevant that unit was for the kids. And then they had to turn around and do a real article, and they had to do the research. And I mean, we did it in a matter of a week, which is crazy. But they did it, and they did a really good job with it.
Well, speaking of student skills, these changes in your practice, how has that affected the students? What have you seen that's different now than it was, say, back in August or September, or even in years prior?
Because they're getting to use technology in a different way, it's causing them to problem solve more. Like, they're not asking for my help for these simple things. They're trying to solve the problems themselves now. So like with research and develop a topic, there was a notice on the lesson plan saying that the automatic HTML code, that pop-up isn't going to come up. And so I told the kids, okay, you know, it's not going to come up, whatever happened, but you can still practice the coding. But one of my students was like, well, they were talking about a trigger, so I figured out the trigger to make it pop up automatically. You know, like in August, if I would have said, oh, this doesn't work, they would have been like, all right, it doesn't work, and keep trucking. But because he was interested in figuring it out, like he's doing something so different from what we normally do in an English class, he went out on a limb and he figured it out, which is amazing to me.
That is really amazing.
Yeah.
So through this process, you were named a Dynamic Learning Project Innovation Advocate, if I'm getting that term right, because I never seem to do. What would you say to others that maybe are on the fence about, you know, going into coaching or being coached? You know, what would you say to them?
I would say a lot of times I think we hear about things coming to us like, oh, try this or try that, and the first thing as teachers, because our plate is already full, we think that it's more work. It wasn't more work. It simplified my work. So for the teachers who are overwhelmed, I would say give this a shot. I know for me, trying to juggle Schoology and Google Classroom, it was too much for me, and there are teachers who are still trying to juggle both. That was too much for me, but I didn't have a solution. And I knew I was supposed to be trying Google Classroom, and I really wanted to, but it wasn't working for me at the time. So I would say the Dynamic Learning Project, it helped solve some of my problems, and it took some of those stressors off. Even figuring out things in the classroom as far as differentiation with the kids. Student engagement is a big thing right now, and using things that are relevant to them, things that are up to date and current, infusing real technology, relevant technology, 21st century technology in the classroom, giving them skills that they're going to need in the workforce and in college. That kind of stuff makes it worth it.
I know, just being in this building as long as I have, and we've been one-to-one with iPads now for, I guess we're going on 5 years now. I really have seen a change in how the students use technology. You know, just in general, how much it's grown as a whole. But with you in the classroom, how have you seen the use of technology change?
It's not a gaming tool like it used to. Like it was a gaming tool for a very long time. It was a tool to do pic collage for a very long time. It was a tool just to type papers for a very long time, and now the applications are more real world. No shade to pic collage, but it's not real world. That's not what they're not going to make that in college. They're not going to make that in their careers. So getting them to the point where they can see or learn how to use Google Sheets in an ELA classroom and why it makes sense to do that, and learning how to code sidebars into a Google spreadsheet that's more real world. It's much more engaging as well.
Right. Well, I appreciate you coming in and talking to me. Yes. Thank you for doing this first episode of Between the Two Chromes.
Yes.
Hopefully it wasn't too nerve-wracking.
No, it was good. It was good.
But, you know, from me to you, I appreciate everything you've done. I appreciate you taking the risks that you have taken. You know, you could have easily told me, oh, no, I'm not doing this. I've done it this way. But you really, you've been my all-star, and I appreciate that. One of my all-stars, maybe the biggest all-star, and I think that's you. You are awesome.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm glad I did it.
Good.
It was a good year.
Good.
It was a good year.
And we've been picked up for year 2.
Oh, we have?
We have.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Yay! That's awesome.
So I'm looking forward to seeing what we can accomplish next year.
So we got to go higher then.
We do got to go higher.
Yeah.
And hopefully bring some more with us.
Yeah, we'll just grab people.
Well, good. Well, thank you very much. I know you got to get back to class.
Yes. Go get my babies. Between two chromes, we are sitting between two chromes. crumbs. You can hear from the mic. Well, how about that?
I feel like I'm blocking the heart. Oh well.
Yeah, you are blocking the heart.
Uh-oh.
It'll be fine. All right.
Is it recording?
It is recording.
Oh, hi. Okay.
Okay. Shh.
Sorry.
Welcome to Two Crow. Wait a minute.